Dharma, The Truths of Life Within Nature by Venerable Rungruan Papa Saro, Dr. Rungruan Lim Chu Patapa. The Dharma is the greatest knowledge to mankind to free up all beliefs, and getting into the reality of life. It is a time that we have to reinvestigate the meaning of life based on facts including the study of the truths of the world, the law of nature, the study of the truths of life within nature, the process of dependent origination, the research on Dharma, nature, for enlightenment, the Four Noble Truths, the liberation of life from suffering, the Nirvana. After the Buddha enlightenment, the Buddha reviewed all the knowledge gained from the enlightenment, and he felt that this knowledge was very abstract and it was too difficult to be understood. At the beginning he decided not to teach this knowledge to the public. However, later he realized that by setting up a proper study system based on facts, then there were some people who still could learn and contemplate this knowledge, as he classified people into various categories as compared to a different type of lotuses in a pond as follows. After the enlightenment, the Buddha reviews his discovery on enlightenment, including Itthappaccayata, the law of cause and effect, the process of dependent origination, the Four Noble Truths, and the Nirvana are the knowledge that are very difficult to be understood and to realize. At the beginning, the Buddha thinks of not to teach these knowledge to the public. However, the Buddha rethinks with compassion to people that still there are some people who are teachable, and then he changes his mind to teach to public based on three types of classifications as follows.
Those who has a capability to learn and develop insight wisdom right away. It is like a lotus that will bloom in the next day. Then by having a short explanation, the person can contemplate on the truths of nature quickly without difficulty. Those who has faith to be good. It is like a lotus that need times to blossom in the future. Well, it is a necessity to take some times to study with great effort in order to understand and to contemplate on the truths of nature. But those who is a stubborn person, it is like a rotten lotus that is spoiled underwater. These are people who not have an open mind to study on new thing, so it is difficult for them to take any study and hopelessly to understand on anything at all.
The Dharma means the nature, and typically it refers to the law of nature. When the Buddha decided to search for the meaning of life, in effect he was looking for the truths of life within nature. It is equivalent to say that he searched for the Dharma. And specifically when he gained an enlightenment, he discovered the truths of life within nature as the origin of Buddhism. And after then he disseminated this knowledge to the public as the establishment of the Buddhism. The Buddha's teachings were then also called the Dharma, which mean the words about the truths of life within nature, including the law of cause and effect, the law of karma, three characteristics of nature, the Four Noble Truths, the process of dependent origination. The Buddha enlightenment covers the four main knowledge of Buddha's discovery on the truths of life within nature as follows. The principle of Itthappaccayata, by having the mindfulness of the recollection of pasts as the knowledge of the recollection of past lives, and then performing the analysis of the ceasing and rebirth of phenomena in life, on how beings pass on according to their actions as the knowledge of the passing away and rebirth of beings. Then the Buddha clearly understand the law of nature that
when this exists, that comes to be. With the arising of this, that arises. When this does not exist, that does not come to be. With the cessation of this, that ceases.
The principle of Itthappaccayata is a basis to explain the notion of no self, that although a life is composed of the five aggregates of being, namely body, feeling, perception, volitional formations, and consciousness, but each of these components are parts of natural process that is caused by certain cause and effect in nature. There is no self or super self who can control all of these natural process as wishing. The process of dependent origination. Now by understanding a life is no self, then we may wonder how a life functions as a being. The Buddha explained a life as the process of dependent origination as follows. In the third watch, as the Buddha continued a reflection on the nature of the causal antecedents, which consist of 12 constituents of the process of dependent origination, in their direct and inverse relations in progressive and regressive evolution. The Four Noble Truths. After the final watch of that night, the Buddha applied the Four Noble Truths analysis on the process of dependent origination, and then he gained the wisdom of knowing how to cease the finest defilements, craving, clinging, ignorance, and taints. This is a way to make an end of all suffering in life. The Nirvana. The Buddha implemented the wisdom of knowing how to cease the finest defilements, and then the mind is liberated, and he reached the special state of Nirvana. Taking a great effort to study on the truths of life within nature, the Dharma, is the greatest journey of mankind in searching for the truths of life within nature. It is the footprint of the Buddha that he took more than 2,000 years ago. And now we will start the journey.